I'm Esther Ramsay-Jones, and I'm here with Paul Terry, whose career has spanned several decades in public health and who has written recently a clinician's guide to understanding and using psychoanalysis in practice. It's a real honour to be here with you, Paul, because your book has very much helped me with my own clinical work, but also in training students who are embarking on psychodynamic counselling courses and a career in the field. So it would be great to start with a question about, how you came to write the book.
Well, the book basically is based on me revisiting a series of papers that I wrote over the last couple of decades. And how that came about was, well, it was interesting in some sense because, well, first of all, why does one write anyway and write to be published eventually? And I find, reflecting on it, I find that I've written really about things that have remained problems for me, even after the work is finished. It stayed in my mind and something that I needed to keep processing in one way or another to understand better, sometimes concerned about how the work turned out or didn't turn out well or whatever, even if it turned out well, still wanting to understand something more about it. The writing gave me a chance to revisit it, to go back into it again, to rethink it, to look further at the literature or new literature that had come out and think about it in those terms. So it helped me really develop my understanding, really, and I think at the same time it's very containing too when one writes. I mean, I think it's even important when you to write notes after sessions and process notes and so on, because it's a form of containment for what is essentially at times very difficult emotional experiences. This writing enables you to take up a somewhat third position. But in my terms, because I'm very keen on thinking about the projections that go on between a therapist and patient and therapist in that way, it's thinking about, the writing enables you to disentangle those projections a bit, step back and disentangle oneself from the intensity of a therapeutic relationship, which sometimes is a bit of an unconscious merger with the patient, really. As Freud said, it's the unconscious talking to the unconscious at times. That's, as we understand it more, of course, is connected with projection and projective identification, about which we'll obviously say more later. So the writing is very important from that point of view.
So the writing, in a sense, has a sort of observant quality to itself. I mean, I just get the impression of something about mental expansiveness when one's writing, or particularly when one comes into contact with the words on the page again. So it's almost the writing, but the rereading of the writing allows for that greater separation and move into a sort of more complex understanding, perhaps, of the work.
And that's what we'll look at in more detail then now.
Yeah.